Hello, Warhammer YouTubers. It's Hooves of Doom, and it's a little bit into July, and I wanted to make a hobby journey video about June and my experience in the hobby. As many of you know, June was a very transitional month, let's just say, moving across country from New Hampshire to Colorado, and hopefully we'll stay in this state for a little while before I'm sure we'll move again. um, but I hope to make a home here for maybe a few years. Who knows? I always say that, and then we always end up moving. uh, but the good thing is, I've already contacted the Age of Sigmar kind of groups on Facebook, kind of in this area, and I think there's some possibility of getting some gamers together here. There's two Games Workshop stores, one in Denver and one in Boulder, about half hour north of Denver. Um, so I'm hoping to kind of get something going there as well. But it was a transitional month. I packed a lot. Take about 30 hours of driving to get from New Hampshire to here, which was kind of an interesting experience for me. My wife's kind of used to long haul driving, and I'm usually the passenger, so for me to actually drive it was fun. It was kind of an adventure, a little bit boring here and there, but if you have the right entertainment, it's actually can be kind of like a fun little road trip. And so one thing I did to spice it up is I got some music and stuff like that. But I also invested in, I think it was there's 8 audio dramas in this series. At the time there was only 7, but that gave me about 7 good hours of audio drama. And what I listened to, well, there's only, I guess, those 7 audio dramas. The rest are all audio books. The audio dramas, they feature more characters and actors involved, so that, and they have like they're more of a high quality production of the books. I don't even know if they actually have the physical books necessarily. I'm not entirely up to speed on the Black Library Age of Sigmar scene. But they were fun, and so I listened to the Hunt for Nagash series and then the Hallowed Knight series, trying to track down Mannfred. There's lots of podcasts and things like this, and other YouTube channels that cover that content. But it's really good. Really enjoyed it. I think I'm going to start kind of investing in those when they come out, because they're really high quality productions. They're pricey, but compared to like a standard audiobook, they're pretty pricey. But they're not. Their quality, in some sense, I think makes it worthwhile. So the last audio drama in the Hallowed Knight series just came out a few days ago. And like I said, that's about tracking down Mannfred after he flees from the Gash, and the Stormcast are in pursuit, trying to obtain him so that they can make the alliance between Nagash and the God King. And I was talking to James at Star Mini Gaming, the YouTube channel, and he's kind of like the narrative kind of AOS. He knows it all, and so that he's a good guy to kind of talk to about it. And we both listened to like that last chapter. I listened to it just last night, and a very interesting cliffhanger, let's just say. I don't want to give too many spoilers. If this was a review of that particular audiobook, I'd be giving spoilers like bonkers, and you guys would be just completely spoiled. But because it's not that, I don't want to give too many details. But it ends in a significant cliffhanger that could have broad ramifications for both Mannfred and the Stormcast. It's really interesting. So we're looking forward to seeing more of that series in the future. But those audiobooks were a great way to kind of travel across the country and to hobby, even though I'm in a car all day. So when I arrived, I was greeted by a huge pile of boxes. I ordered for like my birthday a while back. Like I ordered these a couple months ago. Some of them. So it was like Night Renegade, Warhammer Quest. My copies here. Overkill, and a few of like the Black Library books from the Beast Arises series are here too. So I have some things to kind of keep me busy. And one thing I did, because I knew I'd be in this very transitional period, is I took a couple Warhammer cases of models, and I have like my painting tray. I don't have my airbrush or anything like that, but I took all my regular paints. I actually, what I did before I came is I primed probably about 50 or 60 models, so I'd have those, and I'm slowly getting through them. It's difficult to finish them, as I'll talk about in a little bit, but I definitely did some work knowing that I would be in a weird situation. I wouldn't have all my resources. So yeah, so I primed about, yeah, it's probably about 50 or 60 models. It took a little while. It took like 3 days to kind of do it with the airbrush. Um, and what I did is I painted up my projects right now are the Cadian Shock Troops and Empire Troops. So I just did like a ton of just basic Cadians, and then a ton of Empire like Spearmen or something like that, and just kind of got them all primed up, ready to go. And this month, unfortunately, is the first month in a year that I have not finished a project in a month. But I think it could kind of give me a little bit of a break considering the transition, although I am a little bit depressed about it. I really hope to get something finished this month. Depends if we can find a home faster, sooner rather than later, I guess. But what I did do, because I wanted to get some work finished, I got about 45 guardsmen with base colors and a wash. So there's definitely some more work to be done there, some highlights to bring them up to the level of the 10 that I finished back in May, I guess. But so it wasn't a completely unproductive month. It's in some respects I'm pretty happy that I got that amount done, given everything that I had to do and the fact that everything was packed up. So I hope to, if I can get situated in my new home, to finish those up, relatively quickly. And I'm not going to submit, guardsmen to the PMP until I have all the basic guardsmen finished, and I'll probably just submit them all in one batch. But I need to work on even the 10 that I completed. I want to add some squad markings, and I think those are decals. I'm not really sure how Games Workshop does their squad markings, but I think it is like the little water transfers. And all those are packed away. I have a lot of those, but I just can't access them. I could potentially paint them on myself, but I don't know. I'll think about it. Hopefully we'll get in a position where I can finish those up in July, because I definitely want to get some models painted relatively quickly. So let's just want to talk very briefly about some of the upcoming projects that I'm going to be working on. And in addition to the Shock Troops and Empire, once those are finished, because I'm working on those simultaneously, and I want to know what I'm doing afterwards so that I can prep, maybe buy some kits if I buy some kits, if I wanted to, just so that I can know what to prepare for. So the projects that I rolled for on my chart system was going to be the Space Hulk box set, which should be interesting. So I'm looking forward to, it'll probably be fall, and probably late fall before I kind of get to these. But I'll be painting up the Genestealers and Blood Angels from that box set. And then I have like 10 Bloodletters. And so the other project I rolled for is going to be Khorne Demons. So I'm going to paint up those 10 Bloodletters, and I'll probably just get like the start collecting box and maybe like a Bloodthirster and call it an end. Paint those up. We'll see. With the match play coming out, I might just kind of try to make a 1,000-point army or something more more structured like that. but that's going to be the other army that I'm going to be painting hopefully later this year. I'd love to finish both of those as well before, but I have quite a bit of work to do the remainder of this year, both in terms of you know, getting kind of my hobby room organized and so on and so forth. I'd love to do like an inventory again because it's been a little bit outdated at this point. But more importantly, you know, painting the Cadian shock troops and my current projects, getting those out of the way. And some of those that will take some time. I'm not really expecting to be finished with that before October or November. And I've thrown a kind of a wrench in the works too, because I really want to do the Holy Havoc army. Now, Holy Havoc is a tournament that's upcoming in November. I think it's November 5th, 6th, and 7th, if I recall correctly. So it's a ways off. If you watched Vince's Warhammer Weekly, he did an interview with the tournament organizer. And there's going to be, it's 20 teams of 2, so 40 people. I might make a video series of kind of, you know, an overview of the tournament and kind of my prep for it, because there's going to be quite a bit of prep. As I talked about before, it was either going to be like Beastman or Death, and my wife is going to be my teammate. She's really stressed out about it, but we are going to go with Death, and you know, come up with an epic Death army to bring, and hopefully, you know, it's a fun tournament. It's, to me, we're going to have fun if we win or even do half decent, great. But if we don't, and that's fine too. It's just we're more interested, I can think, in the experience. But my Death army, even though it's painted and quite large, it's been outdated. I have not really bought anything substantial for it for some time. So I think I'm going to make a rather substantial investment, I guess, in doing some upgrades in that army, and I want to get those painted and ready for Holy Havoc. Now, because it's a doubles tournament, I want my wife to have a role, so we've kind of figured out what we want as an army list together. You know, she has no experience with units she hasn't played with, so it's, you know, I've been pointing out like these other great units we don't have and saying, this might be really good. But so I've helped her formulate an army that I think she will really enjoy using, and I'd like to kind of get it's really 3 different armies. They're, because it's a doubles game, they're pretty big. I think the tournament's only 3 games, so what I'm going to try to do is get her army up and running. You know, I would love to get it, you know, at least assembled by the end of July if we can get in a position. But otherwise at the end of August. And so that she can start playing with it and know the rules for the units that she'll be using. But of course, you know, we're each going to have the exact, you know, they're kind of mirror armies. They're somewhat similar to one another. But, she wants to do costumes of some sort. So, you know, all power to her. If I'm going to drag her to this, then you know, the least I can do is kind of do what she's interested in doing. So, you know, they're not going to be like super flamboyant. I hope. But we'll see. I don't want to give any details. If I do a video series, I'll provide those. But I just found out this morning that there's another AOS tournament in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I think it's August 6th. It's not that far away, a couple weeks after the General's Handbook comes out. And that uses the matched play rules. It's about a 5-hour drive from where I am, which after driving 30 hours, that's not bad. And so I don't know. I don't want to stay the night there. That's my biggest thing. So I'm thinking, like, you know, maybe I can drive. I'd be so tired, I guess, if I just did it one day. We'll see. I might go to that. I don't know. Let's see what happens getting settled. But in either case, that might play Death during that too. So maybe there's definitely some things on the go for July. That's for definitely sure. So, anyways, I've rambled on far too long. Thanks for listening, guys, and have a good one. And I will see you with more videos in July. Have a good one. Bye.